Hello, everyone, and welcome to our second People of Video online live stream. My name is Dan Courier, founder of People of Video. Hopefully, you've had the opportunity today to enjoy the first day of videos from our amazing lineup of speakers. Today, we are bringing in Dale, as we did earlier in the live stream. We also have a special guest as well, one of the speakers of People of Video, Meredith Marsh. Going to bring both of them in. Hello, Dale. Hello, Meredith. How is your Saturday going?
Excellent. Thanks for having me.
Good to have you. So, Meredith, you want to tell us, everybody knows Dale. For those of you who didn't catch the live stream, we'll get to Dale in a moment, but Meredith is hanging out with us at this live stream, and I wanted to give her the opportunity to talk to us for a minute. Let us know what you're covering in your presentation at People of Video.
Yeah, so in my presentation, I am covering how to repurpose your video content to reach 5 times more people across social media and a couple other various ways. And so that is what my presentation is on. And what I ordinarily do on my YouTube channel is I help people grow their audience and income online using YouTube. So anything that you can do to get your content out to more people with the work that you've already put into it is kind of the name of the game.
Awesome. And I guess at this point, we'll bring in Dale. Dale Roberts was going to be the MC for the live event. If you didn't happen to be at the first live stream, Dale, why don't you remind the good folks who you are?
I am Dale L. Roberts. I am a best-selling author as well as an advocate for self-publishing books, and I show you how to publish books that sell. Been on the YouTube space since about 2016. I've amassed about a following of about 30,000 people. So it's been an awesome journey, and I really appreciate being able to come on here and chat and actually get to connect with awesome influencers like Meredith here, and getting to connect with later on. Eddie Garrison's going to be joining us. Todd.live. Am I spoiling anything, Dan?
No, go for it.
Okay, fantastic. So I might as well just go ahead and peel through the full list. And Brad Friedman, which actually I got the chance to connect with Brad Friedman. Very interesting fella. He and I just hit it off right out the go. But big kudos. I want to say, first of all, Meredith, we were having a conversation about lighting. And we brought up the Diva light and how it's just not built for those with glasses. But she brought up a very good point. If you actually put it above and angled it down, it actually will kill a little bit of that reflection. I know David Foster from Live Streaming Pros does that. So excellent tip. Big banana sticker for you, Meredith.
Yeah, the elevation on those is definitely key to kind of get it out of that direct reflection. Awesome. I had a thought and it went away. But so for those of you who are, if this is your first live stream for People of Video, we talked about it a little bit in the earlier live stream, but we had an awesome time last night doing a Zoom meetup. I thought that was a really interesting experience. It gave us the opportunity to be able to network with attendees and other speakers. What was your thought, Meredith, of the get together last night?
Yeah, I thought it was great. Actually, interestingly, I mean, like most of us, I do a lot of Zoom calls with various sizes of groups, and it still kind of felt like a conference. I still felt like I was going into a conference hall rather than just like a Zoom meeting. So I think maybe just the energy of it. And so, yeah, it was really great. And the breakout rooms I thought they were perfect. I thought it was really, you can't really force people in person to like hang out together, strangers,
right?
But you could totally do that with the Zoom rooms. And so I think that worked out really well. So it was really great.
And yeah, and it's actually, you say you can't do it in person. The idea for that I kind of transitioned to the digital space with the breakout rooms is I was there with Dale. Podfest/VidFest down in Orlando, Florida. And one of the things they did, it was kind of like speed dating for networking, where as you walked into the room, they gave you a piece of paper and it had like 5 rounds and a number. And then that number corresponded to a table. So every round, one person was designated to stay at a given table the entire night, and then everybody else was basically rotating. So I basically took that idea and applied it to the breakout rooms, split everybody into 5 people, gave them 6 minutes, which does a bunch of different things, which, first of all, it prevents any one person from overpowering a conversation. It gives everybody a minute, and it helps everybody to practice their elevator pitch, because I'm definitely a firm believer that if you can't explain what it is that you do and why it's important in the sentence, then you have some work to do. And that's often why a lot of people struggle with online video and trying to grow their audience in general. I just want to jump in I'm going to in the chat and say hello to a few people. We got a lot of people on, I'm actually surprised. I expected this to be more Facebook heavy, but it looks like the crowd is hanging out on YouTube. We have Waste Warrior Woman out there, Eddie Garrison, Catherine, good to see you. Driving Me Crazy, Inside the Lab, which is somebody that Dale connected with at the meetup. Construction Cronies, what's going on, Chris? Yeah. Andrew over at Fully Involved. Good to see everybody hanging out with us. Let's see where we're at. So far, the same size as the live stream this morning. One of the things that I tried to do, for those of you who happened to come into this live stream, we had technical issues this morning with the first live stream and trying to get it on the actual platform where the presentations live. Plus, there were random people who said that they didn't get emails. So I spent the last several hours fixing people fixing the email issue for the people who didn't get the emails, and also trying to share as much information on the platform as possible to get people to YouTube and Facebook. So they had a backup plan in case this didn't head over there. And I am happy to report that right now there is a green check mark going over to People of Video Online. So this could, in fact, be streaming to the platform. So that is definitely a big advantage. But Meredith, while we have you here, why don't you give us a little bit of a background in how you got into online video and how you've kind of got to where you are today?
Sure. So back in like 2014, I have a background in web design, and I kind of had an opportunity to take a job working as like an in-house web designer / social media manager. And so while I was working that full-time job, I thought, I'm going to start a blog. I'm going to be one of those people that starts a blog and makes money just like magically. And I did not know how that worked. Like, I just was like, I saw Pat Flynn talking about it on the Smart Passive Income podcast. And I'm like, well, I'm going to try that. So I kind of waited for an idea to come to me. And one day I had bought a GoPro camera, I think probably on like Cyber Monday on a whim. And I thought, I'm going to use this to create family videos. And so I got out one day after we had, I live in upstate New York, so we had like 10 inches of snow one Saturday morning, and I sent the kids outside with this camera, and the camera survived the kids playing in the snow with it. And we made Christmas cookies, and I put together this little video, and they were like mesmerized by this, like they thought they were stars of this video. And I thought, why aren't more people creating videos of their family moments like this? And so I kind of looked around online, and no one was really teaching other people how to do that. So I I put my geek hat on and did some keyword research to see if there were other bloggers or any content out there around that. And there really wasn't, from that kind of family perspective. So I started blogging about it, but then it seemed like obvious I needed to create videos myself. And I saw other people on YouTube just like talking to a camera, and I thought, how hard could that be? So I started talking to a camera. And even though I had intended to become a blogger, it was really my YouTube channel where a community started to form, and people started subscribing and leaving comments. And I would like go in every few weeks and be, oh yeah, that's right, I have a YouTube channel, and there's like people here waiting for me to show up. So it just kind of took me by surprise. So once I adopted that and was kind of all in on YouTube, it just kind of grew. So that niche of me teaching people how to use a GoPro and create hobby videos transition to how to create videos for YouTube and social media, and how to edit videos and stuff like that. So yeah, that's how I got started. And then somewhere in there, about a half hour, about, I don't know what I'm talking about, about a year and a half after I started, my full-time job eliminated my position. They moved their headquarters to another state. And so my online business really was not ready to be full-time at all. I was making a little bit of money, but I just decided to go all in with it. And that's where I am now.
Awesome. It's so interesting to hear how everybody kind of, finds their way into this space. If you had to give one tip to somebody that's just getting started in online video, what would that be?
Just start. I think we tend to come up with excuses and reasons why we don't have time for stuff like that. And I had a full-time job and 2 little kids, and my husband is a police officer, so he was working like shifts, and it was not, I didn't have downtime. There was no such thing as downtime, but I just had this idea that the idea was strong enough to compel me to prioritize my time. And so there was lots of other priorities that didn't make the cut. We had cereal for dinner sometimes, a lot of times, or, laundry got backed up. It wasn't.
Is that frowned upon?
It was totally normal. But, things like that we can prioritize our lives, any way that we want to. But if you have an idea and a vision, and even if it's not fully formed, that it's there. The only way it's going to become fully formed is if you move forward with it. And so you have to prioritize what's going on inside of you and give it the time to get it out there.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I think that you touched on a couple things there that kind of sent off some flags in my head. Prioritizing is very often, obviously, like you mentioned, a factor of our perceived amount of time and what we're capable of and what we can accomplish. One of the things that we were talking about in the live stream earlier today is the idea of when you're working on getting better, it's not just so much of learning how to make better technical quality videos, but learning how to become more efficient on everything that leads up to making content, so that it becomes a smaller burden and it allows you to keep moving forward, rather than going, oh, it's just a nightmare for me to do the 50 things I need to do to make a video. Maybe it's only 5 things now, because over time you're finding ways. I know I had a conversation with Todd.Live, who is set to join us, and it was how I had the lighting in this room. And now it was a simple conversation of a picture that I posted about how I put all my lights into a single power strip so I could turn them on and off, just so I could come in and hit a button and not reach up and turn everything. And
I have that too.
Yeah. And he had, however I had it set up, it wasn't nearly as efficient as it could be. And he's like, oh, do this. I'm like, oh, that's really easy and simple. And why didn't I think of that kind of thing? So, and all those little things add up, and they help us to be able to not be that person that walks away and hang out until the magic happens. So all good tips. Still have people out there on YouTube. A couple things I wanted to mention. I talked about all the merch we have back here. I am going to be picking winners of that merch based on people who share their experience with People of Video out on social media using the hashtag People of Video. So definitely share your experience. Let people know on social media who your favorite speakers are, or maybe some of the nuggets that you pulled out of the presentations. And I'll be going out there. And I'll probably recruit somebody to help me to go out there and find all of you and grab some people who are attendees of People of Video to send this stuff out to. So definitely share. Let everybody know. It can be as simple as screen print that you're watching these live streams and share it out. Let people know what we're doing here, because I think that one of the best ways to shorten that learning curve and become more efficient is to learn from the people who already made all the mistakes and can deliver you closer to the finish line without all the obstacles that they overcame. So definitely good in that regard. Dale, I don't think I've ever seen you this quiet, and I want to get you to talk. So
yeah, it's so funny. Before we get on here, Dan's just like, okay, dude, I'm running on fumes. You're going to have to carry the show here. And I was like, no problem. Dude's lit up. I tell you, as soon as it went live, he was just ready to go. I think it pumped you up, the fact that it's actually live on
working.
Video. Yeah, it's working. So it's really good. And by the way, folks, I do have that open over there. So if you happen to pop some comments on there, I'm keeping an eye over there as well. I've got a great question here. I want to kind of chat with Meredith while we have her here. You talk about growing your audience and your income online. What do you think is one great avenue to start out with in driving income as a video content creator?
I love affiliate marketing for just getting started with things. I think because creating a how-to video is kind of, I feel like, pretty simple and easy to do.
Yeah.
And when, or even like a comparison video, this versus that, when people are looking for a this versus that video, they're looking to buy something. And so if you recommend the thing and they click your link, then you're getting that kickback, hopefully. And so I think any kind of like where you're talking about a product or something, I think that's a really easy place to start as a creator, with just talking about what you already know. What are the tools or accessories or software that your niche, what your audience is using every single day? Talk about that. You know how to do it. You probably know more than them, or can show them some tips and tricks. And when you can throw in some affiliate links in there of ways to improve on it, or alternatives to, or anything, I think it's kind of, it's a really good place to start.
Excellent. Now, for those that have not watched my session, by the way, today, some people are like, they probably watched my session. I'm going to ask you this question anyways. This is a cheap plug, everybody. Make sure you go watch the ways to monetize your brand. Let's talk a little bit more about affiliate marketing. This is so cool that you brought this up, because you and I kind of align on this one. Affiliate marketing is just dead simple to get into. What is affiliate marketing, and how does someone get into that?
Affiliate marketing, I feel like I'm being quizzed or something. Affiliate marketing is where if I talk about a product or service or something and I link you to it, I have a special link to, for example, Amazon is a popular affiliate marketing platform, and you go buy that product, then Amazon will pay me a very small percentage of the of that.
Cut it in half recently.
Yeah, it would, yeah.
And it doesn't have to be just, Amazon. It could be, anything. Companies have all kinds of different affiliate programs and percentages available. And so the more people that click on my link and buy something through my link, then the more money I make. And so as you create more content and you get more clicks and you get more leads and you get more sales, it's just a matter of like driving traffic to those links. And that's, I guess, the best way I would describe affiliate marketing.
That's excellent. Excellent. Yeah. So how does one find a good affiliate marketing program? Do I just go look for any old thing, or is there a way that I can find something that maybe resonates with me or sells really well?
What I always recommend my clients and students do is just look at what they're already using, look at the actual products and software, or even, software as a service type things that they're already using, already knowledgeable about, and see if they have an affiliate program. A lot of times in the footer of the site, there will be a link like affiliates or ambassador program or something like that. And if it's not there, just contact them. Sometimes they don't have it on their site. Just use the contact form and ask them. I did that recently with a company, and they didn't have anything on their site. I even Googled, nothing about their affiliate program. I emailed them, and sure enough, they do have an affiliate program. So I think that's the easiest way. And because that's the stuff you already know, that's the products and the software you already know, and you already have some type of relationship with that company because you're using their product. So yeah, that's where I would start.
Fantastic. This is awesome. This is good stuff. Now, being in an affiliate relationship, let's say I go into business with Amazon, just as an example here. Is there anything that I need to do, best practices in using affiliate marketing and sending people to links? Is there something that I shouldn't be doing when it comes to affiliate marketing?
Yeah, I really do feel like I'm being quizzed here.
I'm sorry.
It's funny.
I'm trying to put you on the spot.
No, it's fine. It's funny. The reason I feel like I'm being quizzed is because like I know you know the answers, but you're still asking me. So, yes, you do. There are laws, federal laws that you don't want to be breaking. So you have to tell people, if, for example, in your YouTube description where you link to something and that link is your affiliate link, you have to say, this is an affiliate link, and if you click it and make a purchase, I may receive compensation, or however you want to word it. Yeah. And then affiliate programs will often sometimes have their own rules, like Amazon has their own language that they want you to use in addition to the actual laws. And it's the same thing for blogging, and it's really the same thing for social media. And actually YouTube, I see a lot of YouTube creators who don't disclose affiliate links at all. And I mean, very large, popular YouTube creators who don't do that. And I don't know how they get away with it.
Getting away with that?
I don't know, but I'm a rule follower when it comes to something that's going to affect like my business and my income. Yeah. I don't want to get sued or slapped with a fine, or have the ability to earn income removed from my business. So I like to follow those rules.
Yeah. By the way, totally not quizzing. I feel like sometimes I always try to break down conversations like this if my mother was watching, which there's a good chance my mom might actually be watching. And it's funny explaining affiliate marketing to her and understanding that. You bring up a great point in full disclosure. I was very guilty of this early on. Few of my videos that took off really well and actually paid me quite handsomely, I initially didn't fully disclose, only because I wasn't aware of it. I was like, yay, I get to make money. And then like someone like put a comment, they're like, you didn't disclose blah, blah, blah. FTC can fine you. I was like, what? They can? What? No. So I immediately went over, put in the full disclosure. It helps too, to even tell people, hey, look, I do get financially compensated for this, but it does not influence whether or not I like or enjoy this product. So I always just try to recommend when it comes to affiliate marketing, go with, as Meredith says, go with products that you already know and that you can confidently stand behind. Now, if for some reason you're without products, you have none of them, then you're probably digging into the wrong niche. You're probably going into the wrong type products as such. I would be kind of thrown off. I think there was actually a company that approached Dan at one point or another that was wanting him to do book publishing things, and I was like, why are they reaching out to you? And I was like, they wouldn't make any kind of sense for him to be talking about video and TubeBuddy and then all of a sudden doing book publishing.
Dale, that is an excellent segue. I'm just going to take a moment here real quick to mention our sponsors, specifically Uscreen, who is in the chat here on YouTube. When we were put in a situation where we had to pivot from an in-person event, we first looked to our sponsors for, what our next steps were going to be and how we were going to manage that situation. And we were lucky enough to have Uscreen as one of our sponsors already, and we were able to quickly pivot and utilize Uscreen's platform to actually move People of Video online and set up for those of you who see People of Video online, that is built on Uscreen. So far, it's been an awesome experience in terms of being able to get everything set up in a short amount of time. It took me a year to plan this event, and then I had to pivot in about 6 weeks. So we were able to get everything set up on that. So I want to thank Uscreen, who is out there, for helping us make that a possibility. Also, while we're on the topic of sponsors, TubeBuddy has been wonderful for as long as I've been involved with YouTube. They sponsor my channel, Creator Fundamentals, and they are also a sponsor here of People of Video as well. And also, you need to check out Andrew Can's presentation. For those of you who don't know, Andrew Can works for TubeBuddy, but there is an awesome opportunity to get a really cool free offer from TubeBuddy. So definitely watch that. There's a link in his video to get that. And that is a good one as well. And Soundstripe, they were one of the earliest people I spoke to about People of Video when it was just an idea. And I'm like, hey, I want to have people have a good time. I want to bring people to Albany, and I'm a little concerned. I want people to be able to share the event on social media and have a festive atmosphere. I want to have music, and I don't want people to get busted if they share that on social media. And they're like, yeah, we got you. You can use any music you want from our platform, and we'll make sure that anybody who shares content from your event doesn't get dinged for having the music in the background. So they were awesome right from the very beginning, and they've stuck with us. And I also want to mention our title sponsor, which is Prism Live Studio. For those of you guys who don't know, Prism Live Studio is a free mobile live stream software that you can get on Android and Apple. And they also have the ability to live stream from desktop and Mac. So one of the big things about them, and something that I've covered in the past, is the fact that for people who have less than 1,000 subscribers on YouTube, you can actually use their app to live stream from your mobile device. So big thanks to them. All of the sponsors have been wonderful and supportive, and I just wanted to put out a quick thank you to everybody. So
I do want to, if I can just interject here for just a second, big shout out to PJ over at Uscreen. Dude's awesome. Actually, Dan, I didn't even tell you, I'm actually actively working with Uscreen. Going to be starting to upload some content there for the very near foreseeable future. I'll be launching on Uscreen. So
awesome.
I'm very excited about that. And if anybody hasn't had the opportunity to go over onto the People of Video platform, I watched a handful of videos today. I tried looking for Meredith, but she's tomorrow. I wanted to prepare for tonight's interview, and sadly, I'll have to wait till tomorrow. But really cool. I didn't watch my own presentation because that's just straight weird. And Dan, is the talk that you did, is that the same one that I got to see in Orlando, or did you tweak that a little bit since?
It's essentially the same presentation from VidFest. Yep.
Sweet. So without the sweating profusely.
Right. Yeah. Without all of the, it was quite an experience. For those of you who don't know, my first speaking gig in this particular space, I used to, in corporate stuff, I would do, user conferences and things, but it was an interesting experience because they were running late, and I ran in the backstage to ask them a question about how I wanted to learn how the clicker worked, so I knew how to control my slides. And and it was well before I thought we were going to go on, but because they were so late, as I walked by to ask the question, somebody started putting a lapel mic on me, and the guy on stage introduced me before they were even done. So he literally said, "And here's Dan." And this guy's still wiring me up. So
my wife was scrambling because you were like, "Hey, could you take care of this camera?" And it's a gigantic camera, and she's like, "Sure, just set it up, and I'll make sure it's taken care of." And so she's like panicking. She's like, "What do I do?"
I had every intention of coming back. Yeah. And yeah, so it was trial by fire. It was an interesting experience. And inside, for those of you who are looking to get into that, I am a complete introvert. And I was that kind of person who would probably get sick to my stomach if I had to give a presentation in front of my class for school. Just not something I wanted to do. In this case, prior to being thrown up on stage, I was completely confident and stuff. But once you get up on stage, even though it didn't quite come out that way, inside I was dying inside. So it gets better with time. And it was a great experience. And luckily, when I watched the recording, it didn't look on the outside like it felt on the inside. But that's always
it's always way worse on the inside. And the outside, but much better, because I know you came to me afterwards, and I got to catch at least the last part of it. And I'm like, you seem fine. Like you didn't. I think by then maybe you were like, okay, the worst is over.
Well, yeah, it was immediate. My biggest problem is I went on stage and my throat went completely dry. So I literally was having trouble making sound. So I'm kind of like, and like, I don't even, some random guy, like somebody needs to like look him up and so I can tell him thank you. Some random guy put a cup of water on the stage. I don't even know who it was. If he worked there, I don't know. It could have been his water, but I bent down and took a drink of it because I needed it at that moment in time. I see that Eddie Garrison just hopped into the waiting room. I'm going to bring him in and have him join us. How's it going, Eddie?
What's going on, guys? How you doing?
What's up, Eddie?
We're doing well. How are you?
What's up, Dale? Meredith, how are you?
Good.
Hey, Eddie, I just want you to give us a recap of all of today's presentations, just like a good 2-3 minute on each one. Go.
It was day one of People of Video. Thanks for stopping by, guys.
Why don't you share with everybody what your presentation is about?
Yeah, so my presentation, which is available today, being day one of People of Video, is all about how you can get started with live streaming and video content from your mobile phone. So I go over how to basically get started, some of my best tips in order to create quality video content from your mobile device. Because let's face it, if you're just getting started right now, you don't have the budget to go out and buy a $1,000 DSLR, a $500 microphone, $2,000 lights. And honestly, you don't need that. So I try to help everybody start with a budget-friendly but good product so they can start creating quality video content for their brand right now.
Awesome. Got Gord Eisman out there in the chat. He had quite the welcome in the Zoom call last night. Yeah,
Had me cracking up for sure. Yeah, Gord's well loved for sure.
Appreciate that, Ross. I see you over there in the comments. Thanks for that.
What was your experience with the Zoom meetup on Friday night?
I enjoyed it, and truth be told, I enjoyed it in two different aspects. I enjoyed the breakout sessions because I was lucky enough to be in every breakout room that I was in. I had completely different people in every single one, except for the last one. And I only had one repeat person. So it went really well for me in that regard, to where I got to meet a lot of different people. And two, in the end, I actually enjoyed Roberto and me not going back and forth at each other, but going back and forth with each other to help people understand a little bit about how they can actually monetize things and do side gigs and do front loading work to where it pays off in the end, to where it just kind of automatically makes you money. I hate to use that terminology. I hate passive income because the word passive means something completely different and you shouldn't use it with that, but I understand why people do. I call it automatic income, to where you do a lot of front load work and it pays off incrementally throughout the future.
Yeah, absolutely. Hang on one second here.
So Eddie, I know you're never a lack of words, man. Which, by the way, folks, if you hear me razzing Eddie, it's only because I already know him. We got to meet down in Orlando. You're never lacking words, man. But I went to watch your presentation. I was like, why it's so short, man?
Hey, so though I didn't know, I actually had three. I did three. One was the one that I sent. I had another one that went for 2 hours and 10 minutes. So I didn't think I was going to send that one. And then I had another one that was like 1 hour and 5. So I didn't send that one. So I looked at everything and I said, you know what? These people are going to be on there watching this all day. I don't want to do an hour presentation. I want to give them the bullet points, what's really going to help them, give them the easiest takeaways possible. And that's why I limited it to about 12 minutes.
It's still good though.
Thank you.
To downplay, even you talking about ready for this, and I'm going to see if anybody has watched. Now, Meredith, I'm going to be quizzing somebody. I'm going to be quizzing the live viewers. There's 4 E's. What do the 4 E's stand for? Yeah. See, look, I watched.
I know you did. I love it. I know Ross did because I saw him retweet one of my slides out on Twitter earlier today. So.
What is it? He's giving away the goods, man.
Hey, well, he's one of my affiliates, so now I gotta send him like a quarter.
Yeah, quarter. Yes, make sure you're nice and shined up and such. But if anybody can drop in the 4 E's, Dan will hook you up with a People of Video toilet cover. I'm pretty sure you got toilet cover still, right?
I love those 4 E's. I love those 4 E's, and I use them in every presentation that I do because it honestly just relates to any type of content that you're producing or creating, not just video, not just photography, not just text, not just anything. It applies to every piece of content that you create.
Okay, that's not a toilet cover. I'm assuming that the cap is going to be in place of the toilet cover.
No, I just like holding caps. Yeah, I'll give somebody a hat who puts out all 4.
All right, so Eddie, keep an eye over there on the live comments. You see somebody that picks out the 4 E's. Guess. If you haven't watched it, start guessing or start watching it now and come back and let them know.
Ryan Swanstrom. Ryan Swanstrom is on it. He's got a few of them.
Ooh,
getting close.
He's 50%. He's got 2.
Okay, yep. He's got 2, and I'm not going to say it out loud because I want everybody to look through the comments and start guessing, folks. Those ball caps are really, really nice. I'd be wearing it right now, but I'm already pretty high strung as it is, and it's warm in the house, so I'm not about ready to put that on and start being drenched in sweat. So
boom, fully involved media group just got it.
Nice. Well done. Well done.
Harry. See, he was in one of my breakout sessions last night, so that's awesome. So I even said that in my breakout session. So even if he didn't watch my presentation, which I actually think he did, he already knew.
Awesome.
Nice.
So Andrew, I got a hat for you. Well, I think I have your address, but if I don't, I will make sure I get that from you.
Consult a blind guy. You know what? We have to here, hang on a second. He gets the honorary banana sticker here. All right. Nice. I will personally mail this out to you. All right. Consult a blind guy said email, ebooks, and entertainment. You know, you got one of the E's right, but you said ebooks, and that's inside my wheelhouse. So I feel like I should just reward you with this. So reach out to me at Dale.
This was in my speaker packet.
Nice.
Yeah, it was.
Well, good stuff. All right. So were any of you guys able to go and watch any of the other presentations from today? And if so, which one stood out to you? Putting everybody on the spot. I already put Meredith on the spot, so I'm not calling her out now.
I have been watching things in little teeny tiny pieces because I've been running around trying to fix stuff. But what in terms of standing out, I don't think that I've been able to watch the entirety of any of them yet. I don't think I've had a free hour to do any of them, but the last one I watched was Nick Nimmin's, which I haven't got to the end yet, but it's a pretty cool story, especially for anybody getting started on YouTube with the idea of kind of addressing your insecurities and working your way through them. And obviously you look at somebody like Nick Nimmin, who started with those insecurities, but now is over, 550,000 subscribers and, definitely living life on his terms. So, you don't have to start. One of the things that he points out early in his video is that all his numbers were 0 when he started, just like everybody else. So it's not some superpower. It's just sticking with it and making those improvements over time. Nice.
Eddie, were you able to catch any of the talks yet today?
I was actually, you know what I actually like doing, and sometimes I participate in them, and sometimes I don't. But I watched Evan Carmichael's his channel review session because those are very interesting to me because it just ignites my creativity in my mind because I see somebody else and I'm like, okay, how do they do that? And I start like deconstructing things in my mind and, that's working for them. So I'm going to test that out in my next set of thumbnails. So I enjoy watching sessions like those.
Yeah, it was very, I have to agree with you on the Evan Carmichael, which by the way, love me some Evan. And if Evan's watching this, highly doubt he is, but if he is, Evan, love you, man. He and I got to work together. I had the pleasure of tearing apart his book. That was one of the weirdest things. Like somebody that, I look up to, an influencer. He's got over 2 million subscribers on YouTube. And he's just like, hey man, go ahead, just tear it apart. I'm like, okay. And I went through and just tore apart his listing and such. And it was like, but I love seeing him sitting down and building people up, working with the 5 creators that he did. I learned a lot in that process. And even him opening up Google AdSense to figure out the highest CPM based on the content that the people that we're serving. And I'm like, boom. Mm-hmm. That was just my light bulb moment. I'm like, I started opening up Google AdSense keyword planner and I'm just like, tap, 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 tap. And I'm going, oh my gosh, what have I been doing with my life?
Self-publishing.
Yeah, that's true. Self-publishing and self-publishing videos on top of that.
That's right.
Self-publishing.
I see Ross was watching Dan Battel's video. He says it was packed a ton of powerful advice in his 10-minute speech. See, it doesn't have to be an hour long. It can be short and sweet.
Yeah, his was great. I enjoyed it. His hair is beautiful. I think even if he donated half of that to me, I would probably have a head full of hair by this point. But Daniel Patel, absolutely wonderful. I always enjoy his content. His ability to speak is unparalleled. I feel almost like he could read the instructions on a bottle of Pert Plus, and I would just be intrigued by it. I'd be like, really? Do tell, rinse and repeat? What?
What comes next?
Now, Dale, I mean, just to ask this question, when was the last time you actually bought shampoo?
Gosh, does beard shampoo count?
Sure.
Okay, so about half a year ago, and I literally right after you and Dan saw me in Orlando,
you were bearded,
and I shaved my beard off. Yeah.
Yep.
It's here for winter and it's gone. So it's just there's nothing up top. A lot of people are like, "Why do you grow a beard? You look so gross looking," and I'm like, "It's function. You try to deal with this here during the winter time. It's tough." So I will get any coverage that I can.
I'm blessed, I guess. My wife is a hairdresser, so.
Nice. But Daniel Patel, fantastic talk. I got a chance to watch Renee Teeley on how to grow your personal brand. I don't want to dominate things here. Meredith, were you able to go in and watch any of the videos yet? Please don't think I'm judging you.
No, I actually didn't. And this is going to sound so weird, but I kind of forgot that there was things in there for me to watch. Like in my head, I was like, I got my presentation in, did the live stream last night, knew I was going to be here. And then about 2 hours before I was going to be here, I thought, oh crap, maybe I should have watched something. And I totally forgot that. And I could have been binging all day. And I was like cleaning my house. So no, I'll binge it all tomorrow.
Okay, you're a rock star. You can watch it whenever you want to. I took a 3-hour nap today, and I woke up with that panic of, I got to get on with Dan for 2 hours tonight and somehow figure out something. So I wanted to make sure I watched my boy Eddie Garrison here, and so he made it easy for me. He's like, you know what, Dale, we're going to give you a short video so we can make it easy on you. And there's the beauty. Oh, can I say how awesome this is? If you're a type of person that wants to consume the content as quickly as possible, there's a 2x feature. Yeah. Sadly, we can't do that with live video. And I'm not going to encourage everybody to go 2x through all the sessions because there's going to be some things you're going to want to go slower on. So for Evan, a couple of the points that he was covering, had to backtrack, put it in real time so it can kind of figure it out. Whereas sometimes I'll just go through 2x and I'll just jot some notes down. And if I got to double back around, I'll start to listen to it. So, there you go.
The interesting thing about Evan's session, so he was kind enough to, give up an hour of his time to do a 5-on coaching session with the 5 winners in the contest that we had. But we ended up running short on time at the end, and he was nice enough to come back with the last person and schedule a follow-up. And from my understanding, a couple of people who were in the first session asked to tag along to just be a fly on the wall in that second session, which also went on to last an additional 50 minutes. So that's nearly, I think it's like an hour and 45 minutes worth of Evan Carmichael. So definitely check that out. The good thing that I wanted to mention is for everybody who purchased a ticket to People of Video Online, you do get access to the videos for 30 days. And if that's not enough time for you, you also have the ability to buy replays, which will get you all the videos for a year.
Nice. And well invested. There's going to be so much content on here, so many great speakers among, of course, Meredith Marsh here, Eddie Garrison, myself, and Dan Courier, some of the people that I've really enjoyed and learned from with Nick Nimmin, Roberto Blake, Brian G. Johnson, Tim Schmoyer, Judi Fox, Todd Live, who's going to be coming on here pretty soon. So yeah, if you don't get the replay, don't think I'm going to beat you up, but it's going to be great because then you can take your time. Because if you're like Meredith, you're a rock star. You watch it on your own time.
I'm already
giving you a hard time. I'm sorry, Meredith.
I'm going to probably go watch it either tonight, or tomorrow. Is Andrew Kahn, because I mean, I use TubeBuddy. I'm an affiliate of TubeBuddy, but I still think sometimes I'm just lacking in some of the ways that you can utilize their platform. So I'm going to go watch his because I want to get better at using TubeBuddy.
Yeah, and the first thing he'll tell you is that it's Andrew Kahn.
Nah.
I'm trying to find
out what he was going with.
Yeah.
Right. Everybody always misspells my name and does it with a Y. I'm like, my name's not Edie.
I want to find. I'm going to be brave here and try to. What in the world? So here, when you see the blank stare come over my face in the middle of these things, I'm way too connected, and people are pinging me constantly for all kinds of questions and things. Every time I hear a notification, my brain has to figure out where it came from, what it is, and whether there's something urgent going on in the background. So, but let's see here. Let's try this a different way. I wanted to try sharing my screen for anybody who is out there and show them. See if I can pull this off. We will try. Here, is this anything? Okay.
So there's quite a few comments that I see over there. Is like Dale L. Roberts gave an insider tip to never click on outbound links.
Yes, it actually there's plenty of context that needs to be involved in it. Obviously, you want to go watch that. But speaking of sponsorship deals, you're going to get a lot of people as you start to grow your presence, and they're going to say, "Hey, we have XYZ. Why don't you go check it out?" I never click on outbound links in an email ever, because there's so many right now where people are getting their YouTube accounts taken over. They're getting phished and such like that. So I never. So it's so funny. Anytime I'm connecting with brands, they're like, "Didn't you look at my site?" I'm like, "No." I don't look at your site. I will go ahead and Google up some stuff about you, but beyond that, no.
I love the ones that you get where it's just say that it's your niche, right? So self-publishing is your niche, right? So you get an email from a company. "Oh, we've been watching your content, this, that, and the other. We'd love for you to do a product, video of ours." "Oh, what do you do?" "Oh, yeah, it's a cordless vacuum cleaner." I mean, what the hell? Really? I get them like once a month. I'm like, no.
Yeah, there was a strange product I got sent to me just a couple days ago, and it was a fish tank light. A fish tank light. So a light that goes in a fish tank, and I'm like, what? I don't even know how to, there's no psychology of me putting this together. Well, if you just happen to be writing an ebook about fish tanks, boy, do I got the product for you.
All right. So I was working in the background to get another speaker in the waiting area here. We're going to bring him in now. Welcome to Todd.live. How you doing, Todd?
Hey, I'm doing great. How's everybody doing tonight?
What's up, Todd?
Great.
Good to see everybody.
Now, does everybody on the live stream know everybody else? Has everybody met each other?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Awesome. So Todd, since you are new on the live stream, why don't you tell everybody a little bit about yourself? And if you want, you can also go into what you covered in your presentation for People of Video.
Okay, so I covered a lot in my presentation for People of Video. In fact, the only thing I really remember, it's live streaming, but it was just jam-packed full of stuff. It didn't have like any one central theme, but a little bit about me. I am a lifelong entrepreneur. I am a 12-year recovering attorney. We had a little joke about that last night. I had a Freudian slip and said alcoholic, and I think it's probably because we've been drinking more beer lately with the lockdown. But I'm a 12-year recovering attorney, and I've been doing entrepreneurial things for a very long time, and in the digital space for about 10 years in various projects. I've done a lot of podcasting. I've done a lot of live video. I came in right about the time when Blab was going out. So it was still pretty early, but not as early as a lot of the people that are speaking at People of Video. But I am a tech guy. I love tech. And I have built and broken apart my studio so many times. I can't count that high. And I just love playing with this stuff. I love figuring it out and trying to really push the limits. And lately, I've been trying to see what I can do with video, because we just got Google Fiber. So it's our internet connection is just screaming fast here in my neighborhood in Irvine, California. And, it's kind of fun to see what we can do with it.
I like gear, the understatement of the year from Mr. Todd.live, because if you've never seen his studio, my man has gear everywhere.
Yes.
Dude has iPads hanging on the wall. He's probably got a touch hanging on the ceiling or something, but it was pretty incredible sometimes when I first saw some of your gear setups.
I have fun with it. I'm a little crazy with what I do, but a lot of the gear that I have is to make things simple. Like the camera that I'm using right now, everybody here has probably heard of the A6400. It's a fabulous camera for a permanent studio build, something that you're going to leave and set there. But it's also a camera that I want to take out into the field. And I don't want to take it down every time I want to go into the field and have to put it back up when I come back in the studio. So what's the solution? 2 of them, right? And that's not something that everybody can do. In fact, I'm not even sure I can do it, but I always find a way to make ends meet as far as the studio build goes so that I can do the things that I want to do, because I'm sure it's been a theme at People with Video. Removing friction from everything you do makes you a more happy, more consistent, which I'm always working on consistency, but most happy. I mean, if you're not happy doing what you're doing, it's tough to do it. And I think that when you have to constantly take down and set up and rebuild and retool every time you create a different kind of piece of content, it breaks down your happiness with it, at least for me. So, that's one of my tricks, is just buying doubles of things when I need doubles of things.
Definitely, without a doubt.
Yeah.
I mean, Eddie, you've got 2 phones.
Just for my own knowledge, for a future trivia question that I'll have on down the line, how many iPads do you currently have in your setup?
Me? Well, the sad thing is I don't use them, but I think I have like 7 or 8. And the story behind that is they're all iPad Mini 4s.
Yeah.
The story behind that is this kind of goes a way back, but when Gary Vee launched his book, Ask Gary Vee, he did what he called the Super 8. And he went live on 8 platforms at the same time for 8 hours to promote this book. And I was home with the flu. It wasn't COVID. This is like 4 or 5 years ago, but I was home with the flu watching Gary for 8 hours. And I was just mesmerized by his reach and what he was able to do. And back then we didn't have StreamYard, and Zoom wasn't doing what it's doing now. We didn't have a lot of the luxuries that we have today. Mm-hmm. So a lot of it was, how many devices do you have? And Gary had multiple devices, and he also had a designated person on every one. But we all don't have those luxuries. So, multiple designated devices. So at the time I had 2 iPhones, I had several iPads. One iPad is a jukebox, so I can pump music in. So every iPad has a designation, which I don't use them much anymore like I used to. But the idea was being able to go onto the multiple platforms at the same time, and that was at a time when no one could really do that.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
I make light, but I really enjoy watching your gear stuff on. So
I know you do. I appreciate it. I know you're a tech guy too.
I am. I try to keep it simple. That doesn't mean that I don't buy a lot of gear and use it myself, but it's so funny. I have mixers and I have other cameras and I have other lighting, but right now sitting in my office, I have a Logitech, a Blue Yeti, and 1 light. That's my setup.
I did that for a long time, and it gets fun when you start to play with all of the different technology for live streaming, and it actually gets a little bit easier. Like one of the things with I had the Logitech C920, which I probably did hundreds of live streams with. But one of the biggest challenges with that is every time something turned my computer off, it would like reset all the settings. And then I would have to play with trying to get the lighting and everything back. And like Todd was saying, having multiple. So now I have 2 DSLRs and I have one that's always set up, and having everything set with all the lighting perfect. And now that it's hooked up in OBS, I was saying this probably on the earlier live stream, where I don't press record on my camera anymore. I do it all in OBS. Really helps reduce that friction that Todd mentioned earlier.
I have a tip for you guys, because I know a lot of people are buying A6400s these days. And Ross, I was talking to Ross last week, and he just got his, and I threw him some tips, and he just his mind just exploded. He was so happy with these tips, and I'm going to throw them out at you guys in case any of you are looking at the A6400 or have one. Anybody in the audience, but there's 2 things. I can't show you one of them, but one of them is a designated battery pack. And if any of you are photographers, you already know this, but a lot of people don't know this. Your camera is going to come with a battery, and you're probably going to buy a couple more batteries so that you have them. But the problem is that while you're live or when you're doing a long recording for YouTube or something, your battery is going to run out and you don't want to have to fiddle with it. So you get the designated battery. It doesn't come with the camera, and every camera has one of these somewhere. Some aftermarket company is making these, but it's a cord that plugs into the wall, and it's like a fake battery, and you shove it in there, and there's a little flap, and you can run the cord right out of it. And so you can have constant power. And this one might be my favorite. So with the A6400, this actually works with all the A series cameras, but they don't come with a remote control. So you're constantly moving up, and especially if you have one over your computer like I do here, I'm moving up and fiddling with it, moving back, and I have to start the record button, and the record button's small and everything. Go buy a Sony remote. I don't know why they don't just add $50 to the price of the camera and throw one of these in the box. But this is great because you can start and stop, and if you're using Sony lenses, you can focus with this thing. Mm-hmm. It's fabulous. It takes so much frustration out of it, particularly on any camera really. If you're outside and you set it on a tripod under a tree, you don't want to have to keep going around behind it to mess with it. So the remote control is a really nice thing.
Yeah, Canon has something similar. You can use like an app to get in and control some of your features, and the remote is super handy, especially when you do content like we do at a desk, to not have to constantly be getting over to the camera. Correct.
Maybe one day it'll just be, Alexa, start recording.
Usually it's just set up everybody's Alexas.
I know, that's why I did it.
Oh.
So can I share one more thing that I'm kind of excited about lately?
Please.
Absolutely.
I just started getting into a brand of mounting devices called Wally, WALI. And there's a company that I think sells pretty much the same thing, although I haven't bought anything of theirs yet. But it's called, I think they're called Vivo, VIVO. And they're mounting devices, and I can't show it, unfortunately. But I had my camera on a tripod, which had to be lowered and spread out, and it took a lot of space on the desk. This thing is just a clamp that goes on the side of your desk, and it's a post that comes up, and these arms come out. And when you buy the post, it usually comes with one arm. So what I'm doing is I'm buying multiple sets, and I'm able to rebuild and do anything I want to do, and add and mix the arms and do things that really aren't the intent of the one kit, and do all sorts of other things. So lights and microphones, and I've totally retooled my office with these Wally, and they're not expensive. It's like $40 or $50 to get in the door on the very first post. And one of the things that I like about it is my desk is thick. It's got a metal frame, and the Heil microphone C clamp won't fit on it. Mm-hmm. So I've had to do some improvising over the years that I wasn't really happy with. And the Wally has these huge clamps, and they're cushioned, and they can fit on anything. It's great stuff, and I've had a lot of fun with it. I wish I could show it to you all.
Can I ask a question, Todd? Because sure. I have a similar situation with my desk, and I actually cut a notch in mine to put my scissor arm on. So is it like, how like the Elgato key light clamps to the desk, and is it similar to that, like a light stand with a clamp to a desk, and it's got like reticulating arms that come off of it?
Yeah, let me see if I can show you something here. I bought a bunch of these kits, and I've been mixing and matching them. So let's see here.
I'm curious because a lot of people that I work with have a very limited space that they can actually set up something that they want to have a dedicated space for video. So if it's something that they can literally clamp to the edge of a desk, that's perfect.
So this is perfect if you don't have a lot of space, and I'm going to show you. So this is stuff that's not hooked up. This is like extra parts that I haven't put anywhere yet.
Kudos to the Masters hat as well.
Oh, thank you. My brother was there a couple of years ago and picked it up.
What is it? It's going to be like in November this year.
So there's the clamp, and you can see by the size of my hand, I have a pretty big hand. It's a big clamp. And there's actually a piece that fits on here and creates the rest of it, so that this has something to rest up against. Or actually, this rests up against the bottom of the table. This will sit on top of your table. Okay. But what happens is the piece that hooks onto this thing, this guy It's a post,
Mm-hmm.
and it screws onto it. And then you take these arms. Oh, that's the wrong one. So these arms go on here, and you can raise and lower it, and you can add pieces. Now, one kit won't have extra pieces, so I think I bought 4 kits. So I spent about $200, and I've got a post over here for my microphone, and I've got a post over on my right that has a big long arm that I put together to put my camera on, which is really nice. It eliminated that tripod behind my computer screen and saved a ton of space. And then there's a light that I'm trying out. I have an extra arm over there on that one post. And so some of the posts are too, you can put them on top of one another and make them tall. It's just fun. It's a fun, inexpensive space saver.
And the way that you describe it, and the way now that I can actually visually see it, it looks like those monitor arms that you can clamp on the side of your desk, where there's no, like a regular computer monitor just sits on a stand and it's got a big footprint. So this eliminates a lot of feet.
You can do that. In fact, yes, I haven't done it with my computer monitor yet, but you can do a computer monitor with these, and I intend to do that exactly.
That's pretty cool. And truth be told, I'm not knocking any companies, but there are other companies that make this that are not $50 for these poles. They're
do
a lot
they?
more expensive than that. Yeah.
Well, are they heavy? Like these are heavy. Like these are, you don't want to get smacked with one of these things.
I've never seen in person. I've never seen the ones that I'm describing. And again, I'm not going to name drop because that's just not my MO. And I definitely wouldn't do it on somebody else's stream. But they're not, they don't look to be as heavy duty as the ones that you just showed.
Okay. Yeah, I'm just having fun with it. It's something new that I discovered. And I don't remember who I was watching. There was a video somebody made, and I can't remember the guy's name. He has glasses. He's a bald guy. He's kind of soft spoken, and he's got 500,000 subscribers on YouTube. And he did a video studio build, and I forget what he called it. It was like a limited space, simple studio build, and it gives you everything you need for YouTube or something. And he's got close to 1 million views on it. And I just stumbled upon it, and I've watched that video like 7 times over, trying to capture bits and pieces of it, because it is really a brilliant little studio that this guy
I'd like
put
to see
together.
that. So if you remember the URL, or if you got a link or anything,
I'll find it for you and send it to you. Absolutely.
Yeah, please do, because I'd like to watch it, because like I was mentioning earlier, I mean, we're as creators, we have our own studios and we build them out and everything. And a lot of us have more space than others and this, that, and the other. But the people like personally that I work with, that I coach or I help people get started in video content, they don't have the amount of space that, a lot of us may have the luxury to have. So they're looking for stuff because, to your point, Todd, earlier, they don't want to have to set it up, then break it down, then set it up, then break it down. And then all of a sudden, a few, 4 or 5 times after that, it just gets discouraging and they don't look forward to creating the video content. So that we're on camera, they're just trying to get in there and bang out this message as quickly as possible because they know they have to break it down again. So something like this piece of equipment, if they can have it even tucked away somewhere where all they have to do is pull it out, clamp it to a desk, and they're ready to roll, that really helps people that may be doing this in a very small office space at their restaurant or at their office, their oil changing place, or maybe even on location, like a plumbing business. They could have it in the back of their van or something. So something like that is really a cool idea to have.
Yeah, and you save a lot of mistakes when you have something more permanent set up. Every time you have to touch something and take it apart, there's a chance that you get it wrong. One thing can go wrong, and all of a sudden you realize you just recorded for 2 hours and there was no audio, or you went live and people could hardly hear you, or they were hearing a nasty little buzz that you couldn't hear. So ironing something out and trying to establish a permanent solution for your content creation is definitely a big advantage for anybody who can do that. I agree.
Definitely, because I'm sorry, Dan, go ahead.
I just want to jump in here. We're bringing in another speaker, and I'm getting weird pop-ups. All right, well, going to bring in Brad. Welcome to. Why? Oh, yeah, he needs to unmute himself. Brad, if you can unmute yourself and tell everybody about yourself and what you covered in your presentation here for people of video. Oh, can't hear you.
Brad's one of my favorite people, but I like to hear him better than trying to read his lips.
Yeah, we don't have any. I can't hear you, Brad.
No audio, Brad.
My God. How about now?
There we go. That works.
Gee, I unmuted myself and still didn't turn my mic on. I mean, you have to do both?
Apparently, yeah.
Jeez Louise. Okay. Hey, hi, everybody. I'm Brad Friedman. I got a digital marketing firm, or kind of what's left of it after the COVID virus got it, here in Denver, Colorado. And I put together a little presentation that I think's going to be go live tomorrow about using email and some digital marketing to grow your YouTube channel. And yeah, that's what I'm talking about tomorrow. So yeah, it was pretty fun to do.
Awesome. Good to have you, Brad.
Yeah, thanks.
I've already watched your video. I loved it. And Gord, I think, edited it, and I think it's brilliant the way you guys did it.
Yeah, Gord did a great job on it. It was really fun. It was not easy. A lot of green screen work, which is why you see my little green screen in the background. He's been working this week on one for the Midwest Digital Conference too. That's at the end of the month, and it's a lot of hard work. I tell you, I'm glad that I have him to do it because I could not be doing it myself.
And Gord's a stud when it comes to video editing, for sure. I learned a lot of the tricks from him. A good
Yeah.
dude. Let me do a really quick interruption here, guys. I know Meredith has been on just a little bit longer than she was anticipating and such. What we want to do, of course, is give you the floor here really quick. And how can people get a hold of you? And of course, tomorrow's talk, we're really excited about it. So you've got the floor.
Well, thanks for having me. First of all, so where can you get a hold of me? I'm VidPro Mom. If you just search that on YouTube and on Instagram, I love me some Instagram. And you can connect with me there. And yeah, that's all the floor that I need.
Excellent. Yeah, I know that you've been kind of hanging out and such like that, but you weren't anticipating probably staying so long. But thank you so much. I really
Thank
do
you,
appreciate
Meredith.
it.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Have a good night, Meredith.
Have a good night.
Thanks.
Take care. Good to see you.
Bye-bye.
And thank you, Dale, for paying attention to the 7th thing on the list of things for me to pay attention to.
I'm your wingman. Yeah, I got you covered.
You got there quicker than I. We were talking about this in the live stream this morning, just trying to all the fun things you learn of running this from behind the scenes has been an interesting experience, and definitely an educational one. And something that is definitely going to become a course. But yeah, Dale has helped me greatly in trying to, keep the conversation going while people are pinging me and all that good stuff in the background. But I think we're already learning stuff, because we were able to confirm that this live stream is actually going out to People of Video Online. I had a little snag this morning, but we are doing well and going out to YouTube and Facebook and People of Video Online. So everything looks good, and we have a decent crowd out there, which surprisingly most of them are on YouTube. And I figured there would have been a stronger Facebook crowd, but it's good to have
Facebookers for sure.
Yeah, I do.
Lee's over there. Jenny is over there. I'm over there. I'm kind of quietly lurking about and such.
I see you driving me crazy out there.
Yeah, I had to get you to drop me out. Everybody probably saw I disappeared. They probably like, did Dan just kick Dale out? Like, his cat came up. Did you see his cat start hugging? Panic hit me because I had to give my cat its meds. So I was like, hey, can you give me 2 minutes? Yeah, the struggles that we kind of go through and such.
And then it takes me 10 minutes to notice that there's another little icon saying that there's something
Private
else.
chat.
The private chat things. Yeah, so it's a learning experience. I did a whole 1.5 live streams on StreamYard before I started these. So it's definitely a learning experience.
It's fun. I enjoy StreamYard, and truth be told, I've been using them since about 2018 when they first kind of came on the scene. And it's really cool to watch them grow from like where they came from into like where they are now. And like their online community, like their Facebook community is great. And people are like, oh, we want this, we want that, we want this, we want that. Why can't we have this? Why can't we have that? You can do this with that platform. You can do this with that platform. I'm like, those platforms have been around for 10 years. They've really been on the scene for about a year. So
yeah, they've done a lot in a year though, man.
Yeah.
They've done a ton.
And
Yeah.
they kind of got thrown, especially their infrastructure, trial by fire with all this, because I know from watching their Sunday nights, what they call their town halls.
Right.
And if anybody's interested in, learning about live streaming and StreamYard in particular, I recommend watching those because they go live every Sunday night, and it's the two co-founders. And when COVID happened, all this influx of new users came on, and they didn't know if their infrastructure and servers could hold it. So a lot of companies that just start out, especially in this game, don't have the unluxury of having to go through that. So all these other companies have been being able to build up their infrastructure. So to Brad's point, it's pretty incredible what they've been able to do in just a little over a year.
And honestly, having muddled my way through bringing in guests using OBS to live stream, this really simplifies the guest aspect of live streaming. Like,
it's a click.
Yeah, I mean, it's literally, it could not be easier.
Yep.
And I've done it the painful way of like setting up a Zoom call and framing out each individual person in OBS. So you can't beat this for having guests on.
Nope. And another cool thing about this too is they don't have to have the account that you're going live on. So if you're going live on YouTube, they don't have to have a Google account. They don't have to have a Facebook account. They just click the link and they're on.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Simplicity. I love it.
Awesome. All right. If you guys have any questions for any of the speakers out there, just let me know. Try to tag at people or, oh my goodness. Tag people of video in the chat. If you're on Facebook, just use the hashtag just so you stand out in the chat, and we want to make sure that we get any questions answered. One of the reasons that we're doing these live streams is the opportunity to create that Q&A opportunity, because we are doing pre-recorded presentations over the 2 days. Brad, did you were you in the Zoom meetup?
I was.
Did you?
Yeah.
Did we make it into a room together, or did we?
Yeah, we were in the very first.
The very first one
together for a little while.
Yeah, it's interesting because it does when you throw everybody into a breakout room, which is a fantastic feature, by the way. Yeah. It leaves you by yourself in the main room. It doesn't split you into one of the groups. So I would randomly try to like hop in and make sure everything was going well. And I think it was as far as networking online and being able to take a large group of people and still have meaningful conversations, I think that turned out really well.
Yeah, it was a huge success. I thought it was really fun. I met a lot of very nice people, and when you have a huge group like that, online, I mean, it was a great way to get to meet people and do a little networking, and it was really fun.
Yeah, and I was thrilled with the number of people we were able to get in there. We had 45 people in a Zoom call, so it was a pretty good opportunity to interact with everybody. So that was awesome.
I met some people that had some unique channels. So
yeah.
That I wasn't aware of that, like that was a thing. So
yeah, that's interesting. Not that I can talk about them on this live stream, but I too met some people with some interesting channels when I experienced the in-person version of this down at Podfest. So conversation for another day, but it's great to have all you guys in the People of Video. It's good to get this going. I want to mention real quick, I mentioned it earlier, we are going to do giveaways, all the stuff that I have back here on the shelf. We have hats and pins and just like merch packs that have a variety of different things in them that we want to give away. So definitely share your experience with People of Video online using the hashtag People of Video. We'll go out and find those posts and pick out some people to send you guys some cool merch. So definitely let everybody know your experience, do screen prints of the live streams, share your favorite thoughts from the presentations that you're watching, and let everybody know what you think of the experience here at People of Video. I see a question in the chat. It says, question for Dale. Can you explain what's that say? Pareto
principle.
Pareto principle. I don't know what that is.
Yeah. 80-20 rule. So the 80-20 rule kind of works this way. Let me just summarize it. I think I might have covered it inside my chat, but an 80-20 rule kind of works this way. 20% of what you're going to be doing is going to bring in 80% of your results, and vice versa, in which there's 80% of the stuff that you will do that will only bring in about 20%. Is this a hard and fast rule and applies to everything? No. There's going to be some things you're just going to knock right out the park. but the 80-20 principle can work in most instances, especially if you're just breaking into the business. Pay attention to the needle mover. What's going to be the thing that's going to move your brand and your business forward? That thing that's moving it, even if it's ever so small, should be the thing you're focusing on, because if everything else ain't moving it, stop doing it. I can't tell you how many times that I've, bottlenecked my business because I thought, well, I've got to do this, and this, and it wasn't doing anything. It was absolutely doing nothing. Like, for instance, I was going into Facebook groups and promoting my books. That doesn't work. No one ever buys any of the books when they go into these Facebook groups. So it was a methodology that didn't serve me very well. So that's the Pareto principle, 80-20, kind of summarized on that. But thank you very much for the question. Hey, Dan, I got a question for you. Are you willing to part ways with another piece of swag?
Say that again? Yes, absolutely.
Are you ready? Okay, so go ahead and pull up the next piece here. I'm going to do a quiz while we have Todd here. By the way, Todd, it's been about 2 years since you and I first connected. Last time we were hanging out with Mike Vardy in Los Angeles.
Yeah.
And an acquaintance of mine got cussed out by a girl inside the bar.
Uh-oh. I don't remember that.
Oh no, yeah, it was the three of us were having a conversation, and for some reason there was got really loud, really fast. I'm like, what the heck is going on over here?
We were at Vid Summit, I imagine, we're correct?
Yep,
yeah.
It was a Vid Summit, yep. I can't remember what specifically we're talking about. Okay, so Dan's put up one of those lovely shirts, right?
No, this is I pulled out a
drawstring bag.
Drawstring bag.
You can wear it like a shirt, right?
I guess.
Drawstring bag. All right, so I just talked about Todd here. Todd mentioned not too long ago, let's see how many people paid attention. How many iPads does Todd have? How many iPads does Todd have? So if anybody that can answer that correctly, the soonest that gets to win that drawstring. And hey, if you want to wear it like a shirt, you can. It'll be a little weird, but there you go.
No judgment.
And even though this is
I can see some of the iPads in your background.
Even though the answer is too many, that's not the one he's looking for.
No, we need.
That was my answer.
Too many.
There it is.
There it is. Yep.
Which one?
Construction Cronies, I believe, has the number 8. 8 is correct, right, Todd?
8 is correct.
8 is correct. Yeah. As soon as I went over to give my cat its meds, I was like, Todd Live has 8 iPads?
Well, you know what? I might not have exactly 8, but 8 is the number I gave earlier.
Right.
If I actually counted them up, it might be 7, it might be 9, but 8 is the correct answer from earlier in the discussion. Absolutely.
Well
all
done,
right, Chris.
Cronies.
Construction Cronies. Got
well done, Chris.
A drawstring bag for you.
I was in one of Chris's breakout, or we were in the breakout room last night together. So that was a cool guy.
Yes, Chris is a very cool guy. And he has you guys are talking about tech and stuff. He has teched out beyond teched out his little studio there. So
yep. And if I remember correctly, it's because he comes from like a film background, like a professional film, studio background.
Yeah, I think that's what he was saying. Yeah. That was news to me. I did not know that. That's where.
See, Chris, I listen.
All right. So far we've given away a hat and a drawstring bag. Oh, I did see a question. And let's see here. Consult a blind guy says, at People of Video, what is the best way to test a microphone for live streaming? While you guys are thinking about that, I'll give you a quick note about how I approach audio with the stuff that I do. There are people out there that will talk about how you can post-process audio and take out the hiss and do all those other things. I'm just much lazier than that. So my goal has always been to set up an environment and upgrade and continually upgrade until I got to a mic and a setup that just had good audio going in. I don't post-process. I don't do anything to my audio, but I have continued to upgrade over time. And now I have this microphone, which I absolutely love, and the setup that I have. So I don't have to run into the situation of pulling any type of hiss or background noise out of my audio.
Ditto.
Yeah. One of the cool things about StreamYard is that you can go into StreamYard and just do a test broadcast without having to go live. And you could do that to test a mic and then actually download it and listen to what it sounds like. And go through the whole process there and do it with multiple mics and see how that works for you. It would be one way to do it, at least using the tool and seeing actually in sort of a real life situation how it would work.
Yeah.
So, I'm sorry.
Oh, go ahead.
I have a tip. This is a little more advanced, but as you build your studio, it can serve you very well, because if you are testing your audio through earbuds that are coming out of your computer, you might be getting worse sound than is truly going out. You may hear something than what is truly going out. There's all sorts of like in my studio, I have a number of places where I could actually plug this headset in. But if I want to truly know what my sound sounds like, and this is for people who have mixers, it doesn't matter if they're advanced mixers or small mixers, because a lot of us that use microphones are going to have some sort of mixer before it goes into the computer. A lot of us are also podcasters. And so this requires a digital voice recorder. But if you plug your headset into your digital voice recorder to test your audio, no matter where your audio is going from your mixer, as long as your mixer is going into that digital voice recorder, I've found that you get the purest, most honest version of what your sound should be like going out wherever it's going. And if there's any degradations anywhere else, they're probably beyond your control. You're sending. And so if you can get that perfect sound going from whatever audio device into a voice recorder, that's about the best you can do. And so you can test it at that one place, and usually that's going to be good. That's what I've done over the years.
Nice. For me, whenever I want to test out something live, I'll just do a dummy, a test type thing. So if I'm going to say like YouTube and I'm trying out a new live mic for live, I'll just put something on unlisted or private, and then I'll just open up, and I'll have my wife usually just open up a computer, listen in on it. One of the things I really try to do is if I'm checking anything, earbuds are great, but if you can get over ear headphones with some bass to it and such like that, you can get a more accurate idea of what's going on. Because if you've got, for instance, like a Rode NT1A, which, can catch a frigging mouse fart from a mile away, for crying out loud, you want to make sure you're paying attention to some of those intricacies, because you may have to end up putting on some noise suppression or a noise gate, maybe increase or decrease your gain before you go live. But I almost always just say, just to be err on the safe side of things, if you aren't using something like, say, StreamYard, just go and just do a test live on unlisted or private, whatever platform you're going to be doing, and play around with it. And this is also, if any of you Mac users out there, especially MacBook Pro, audio latency tends to be a really big issue when you're streaming from that. So definitely always run a test live stream. So that way you're not going on there and you're doing Bruce Lee lips, because that's going to turn off a lot of viewers. They might listen to you, but after a while, they're sick of seeing your face not matching up with your words.
There's nothing I dislike more than audio that isn't syncing. I mean, it is the worst. I could deal with just about anything else, but that right there, I'm going to shut down the show. I don't want to have anything to do with it until I can solve that. And sometimes that too is beyond your control. Some people out there will say, hey, you're not syncing, but that might be one or two people, but 7 other people you're syncing for. So sometimes you just got to roll with it. But I think I agree. That's one of the worst. I just can't stand it.
And a lot of times, and to your point, Todd, it's beyond your control, because somebody could be watching you with spotty internet. Your internet could be spotty. So it's basically you have zero control over that. And that's one, if there is a drawback of live streaming, that might be one of them. If you don't have that strong internet, or somebody isn't watching you on a strong internet, it could turn them off, which unfortunately there's nothing you can do about that.
I think I addressed this in my presentation for people of video that shows up tomorrow. It's if you do have somebody that comes in and says they can't hear you or something's going wrong for their audio, don't let it drive you nuts. Don't let it cause, when you're new at live streaming, something like that, you could really I know I would really just get upset over it. And you can't always control it. So I usually will check with the crowd. Hey, does anybody else have this problem today? And if everybody's giving me a thumbs up, then I just continue on and don't worry about it, because you're right. Somebody could be where the internet, the Wi-Fi is terrible. Or it could be something even beyond their control, something in between you and them. But don't let 1 or 2 people that say that the audio is something's wrong with it ruin your time. You've got to press forward.
Yeah. It can mess you up. You know, you'll be like, and then all of a sudden you're forgetting what you're talking about.
Exactly.
And yeah, I can't tell you how many times Todd nails it. You know, ask at the crowd, because if they've got, as Eddie was saying, spotty internet, you know, it doesn't matter what you're going to end up doing. Something to kind of a tip too. Think about the platform you're streaming to, folks. So for instance, I hate to say it because we're streaming to the platform anyways, Facebook has some potato quality infrastructure. It sometimes absolutely sucks. So know the platform you're going to be streaming to. If you're doing it at, say, 4K 30 frames per second, you're killing people on their mobile devices. I learned this one from David Foster from Live Streaming Pros. One of the mistakes I was making was I was actually streaming to Twitch as an affiliate. You can have upwards of 1080p at, say, 60 frames per second. Should you be doing that? No, not really. 720 at about 30 frames per second is more than sufficient, especially if you're not doing anything that's game related. So know the platform, know what their upper tier is going to be able to handle it. That way, when people are watching on their mobile device, they're not getting crushed with your 4K 60 frames per second stream.
Well, I just will add one thing. I'm sorry. Hardwire your live stream computer.
Yes.
Hardwire it.
Yeah.
I've had so many people say, you know, Todd, how do you get it perfect? Or I can't seem to get it. I've tried everything. And the first thing I always ask, have you tried hardwiring your computer to the internet? And they're like, they can't wait. I remember I've actually had this happen with 3 or 4 people at Vid Summit through the years where they're prominent, or, you know, and you would think they would have thought of this, and it was like, hey, hardwire. And they couldn't wait to get home to try it. And of course, every time it solved the problem.
Yeah, it crushes me. It breaks my heart sometimes, Todd, when I have somebody that goes, I can't hardwire in. And I'm like, what? Just throw your computer out the window. Just forget it.
Yeah, it's
in the comments. Actually, Ross Brand brings up a good point as well, which I think a lot of people forget about in the end. And he says, even with recorded audio, it's going to sound different through speakers versus headphones versus earbuds versus in your car. So you may be getting your audio to where it sounds good on your $500 speakers, but if somebody's listening to them on 75-cent, earbuds that they bought, at a flea market, you're going to sound like garbage maybe. So audio is a beast.
You mentioned
important.
You mentioned Live Stream Pros, and Dave, I learned so much from that channel.
Yeah,
I mean,
fantastic.
he's a tech guy, right?
Oh,
he loves to roll up his sleeves and play with stuff. So he's a reference. Him, Michael, Murphy, and Eddie. I pay a lot of attention to you, Eddie. I love the simplicity of the stuff that you do, and finding really practical solutions, particularly for the beginner. You do a great job.
Thank you very much. I was actually going to not mention that, but I was going to mention the simplicity of things. Like, I think a lot of people and a lot of products in general, including the microphone that I use, the Blue Yeti, gets a bad rap because people don't take the time to set it up properly. They think that it's just, I can plug it in, I can talk to it like this, and they don't read the setup guides, or they don't go to YouTube to figure out how to set it up, and they just start bashing it. It's like, oh, well, that mic sucks, you shouldn't be using that, you shouldn't be using this. If you take the time to actually understand what your needs are in the beginning, it's going to save you so much headache in the end.
I was actually going to comment on you last night, but there were 40 or 50 people in there, and I didn't feel like, throwing out hey, Eddie, your audio sounds great. So I figured I'll throw it in here now since there's just 5 of us. But I noticed that last night when we were on the big screen with all the people that you sound fantastic through your Blue Yeti.
Thank you. And that is straight USB to the back of my tower. There's nothing in between it. And I've never done anything. I don't even think I've ever even unplugged it. I plugged it in and then I read the setup guide and how I was going to have it like on my scissor arm, and I picked the right mode to be in, and I messed with like the gain on the back to where I sounded like I think I needed to sound, and I just let well enough alone, as they say.
Cool. The Ross in the chat asked, said, speaking of gear, has anyone checked out is it ATEM Mini or ATEM Mini Pro for live switching? Anybody have any experience with that one?
I know what he's talking about. I don't have any experience with it, but
Nope.
Yeah, I've seen it come up in conversation. I actually had somebody come up on one of the videos that I made because I was showing people how to live stream with a DSLR, and they were like, "Oh, that's why would you recommend the Cam Link with the ATEM Mini out there?" And I don't see how the two are related to each other because it's just like a input mixer, right?
the one that Ross is talking about.
Yeah. Like, would that be a replacement to Cam Link?
But I think it does a lot more than that as well. I think you're able to bring in other cameras as well. Like it's more like a mini mixer for like a live television production thing.
Right.
I think that's the one that he's talking about. So
I think that's what it looks
and I think
like.
I don't even remember like what the rack rate is on that thing. I think it's like $400 or $500.
Yeah, I think it's $599.
Yeah.
So interesting.
Yeah, Gord makes an important point that the services as well, Zoom, YouTube, can affect your audio and video quality.
Yep.
Big time. And you just do the best you can. You dial it in, like Eddie said with his Blue Yeti. You read the instructions, maybe watch some videos, figure out how to dial it in. If you have other stuff, a mixer or anything like that, do your best to dial it in. Ask questions of people out there who use it, and get it to where you really like it. And if the preponderance of your content, particularly live, is going out and sounding great when you watch it in replay, then don't worry about it video to video. Just create your content and have some fun. And
D Nimmin out there in the chat. Good to see you, D.
Yeah. D popping on in here.
Hey, D.
Got a good. Remember, if anybody has questions for the speakers, we got about a half hour left. Just tag at People of Video. When you see me staring off to the side, I haven't fallen asleep yet. I am trying to read the chat and find some of the questions for these guys. So,
cheers to you, man. I got that tweet earlier about actually asking about my presentation. I was very humbled to have one of the founders of the Nimminati asking about my presentation. So cheers for that one, D.
Let's see. I know I saw a couple more up here. We got to test the microphone. Got that.
Well, while we're kind of waiting between questions here, I thought I would go ahead. Brad's been talking so much. I need to make sure I throttle him just a second.
I apologize for that. I really do.
No, I got a question for you though. So this is great because I know Eddie just released a book not too long ago, and I know you've published some books. So you know what? Let's go ahead and let's go into my little field here of things. So Brad, tell me a little bit about your experience when it comes to publishing your own books, and is this something that's going to be vital or something that's going to be a good tool in any video content creator's bag of goods?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I think, there's so many reasons why having a book, having a published book is a good thing. I use my books as just like a business card, if nothing else. It's a great giveaway. I have a few on the shelf. It makes a nice Christmas gift, birthday presents and the like. But I mean, really, as far as helping develop personal brands, help with developing credibility, having a book, there's just so many reasons why you want to put in the time and the effort to publish a book. It's not an easy thing to do, and it doesn't happen overnight, but the benefits of it afterward far outweigh the pain of going through it. I have two of them, and to my delight, I actually still sell a few of the first one, which is kind of surprising to me.
That's good,
because it's kind of old, and every once in a while, I get a 29-cent little message. You still haven't reached the minimum, but you did sell. You get 29 cents in there, and whatever. But yeah, I think having a book, people need to think about doing that for sure.
Well, this is one example of somebody who had a book and the magic that it worked for them in this very specific moment. But I was standing with a creator who I won't name, a pretty prominent creator, and has a book. And we were at, I think we were at Vid Summit, VidCon. We were at VidCon, and there was a booth that we were standing by, and we were watching. They had a camera, and they were interviewing people, and they were turning a lot of people away who were like, "Hey, I'm a creator. You know, can you interview me?" And they didn't seem interested at all. And this creator that I was with, he decided to go up and see if he could get interviewed. And at first they didn't seem that interested, but he handed them a book. And all of a sudden, oh yeah, come on over here on the other side of the camera and let's talk about your book and what you're up to. So, you know, this is just one instance, one example. I don't know that it would always work, but books can tilt things in your favor quite well.
I mean, it's a nice thing to even bring to a meeting with a prospect. You know, it immediately establishes a little bit of credibility, you know, just the fact that you have published something.
Yeah. How long ago did you do your first book then?
So my first book now, boy, 4 years.
Okay. And you're still collecting some nice little, you know, pocket change here and there.
Pocket change is accurate.
But the cool thing is it still affords you opportunities, you know, so that's the nice thing is it affords you opportunities. So for some reason, you are at a VidCon and you're, you know, noticing that, hey, I've got a golden ticket. You can go over and get that placement. It's amazing how quickly that authority kind of adds up. Eddie, I know that you just fired yours off not too long ago. Tell us a little bit about yours and what was your inspiration behind putting something like this out? Because obviously you're a great video guy. Why a book?
Truth be told, I have two out, and yeah, I just did release one on Monday, and it's already sold some copies. So I was like, hey, look at that. People actually like what I want to talk about. Some things I think come off better in written text, and this is coming from a video guy, right? I love video. I love live streaming. I can sit here and I can ramble on and on. Like you said, I'm never at a lack of words. So a book kind of just rolled into that because I can just sit there and type and type and type. And it gives me, funny enough, it kind of gives me a little bit more structure to my creativity, right? Because specifically speaking to a live stream, it can kind of go off the tracks really quickly. If I'm going to do a live stream on, hey, gear to get started, somebody might ask me a question about a light, and then all of a sudden we get off on just lighting. In a book, I can keep everything structured in the order that I would like to keep it ordered in, because a book obviously is a story, right? There's a beginning, there's a beginning, there's a middle, and there's an end, unlike videos and live streaming that can get off track. So for me, it was kind of, it brought order to the chaos that my speaking can get into.
Yeah. And it's also just another, and here's something that I just try to implore upon people is I'm not going to say it's an easy process, but it's not too difficult. And it does parallel a lot of what we do in video content creation and creating something. But, you know, I'll tell you, my brother, actually, I've got a book here up on the shelf. This has already brought in hundreds of emails to an email list. It has brought in revenue, not only through print, ebook, and audiobook. It's afforded him more opportunities and some interviews he otherwise wouldn't have been able to do had he not had that. And I'll tell you here, this will hopefully inspire some people. Let me hold it up here. This is my brother's book. Now, I'm not telling you guys to go buy it. Look how thick it is.
That's awesome.
It was about 6,000 words altogether on this one. And it's not like I did super high, big print or anything else like that. It took him a weekend to write it. He sat down, put pen to paper. It probably took longer to edit it than it did to do any of the stuff over the course of the weekend for him. But this is a nice little thing here. It generates more revenue. And the nice thing also is it sends people back over to his YouTube channel to where they subscribe. They will hopefully get onto an email list. He's able to upsell and upgrade them on products.
Exactly.
And at the very minimum, they buy affiliate products that are related to that. So this is one of the reasons why I want to bring it up. I've been giving Dan a hard time. Everybody, you got to poke him, poke the bear here. I've been on him probably it's been about a year and a half easily, right?
Oh, for sure. Yeah. And then I decided I was going to host a conference.
And the conference is like, and we're going to put this on hold for now, dude.
Yep.
Yeah. So once we get, well, now we have some experience doing the online event, and next year, 2021, probably around the same time of year, we're going to do get the in-person event going, and hopefully in between those two, maybe I can get a little farther along. I have technically started it.
Yeah.
I have a lot of notes and stuff, and I have a dedicated notebook in Evernote for it, for what that's worth. And I have an idea of what the topic's going to be and what we're going to cover. But yeah, just trying to put everything in place and get that out there. I do want to take a quick moment to remind everybody that the title sponsor of People of Video is Prism Live Studio. Since we've been doing all this conversation about live streaming, Prism Live Studio is actually a free app that you can put on your Android or Apple device. It allows you to go live to YouTube for free, even if you have less than 1,000 subscribers on YouTube. Plus, it has a lot of bells and whistles, features that you can use during live stream, little animations, your subscribe button and things like that you can pop up. And it's a great way to add a little more finish and polish to your live streams from your mobile device through a free app. So I just want to thank them so much for being the title sponsor for People of Video. They have been a huge help. And real quick, we also want to mention the other sponsors of People of Video as well. And again, you're probably familiar with all of these companies. They're all great companies that I've had the opportunity to interact with on a personal level. Soundstripe, I mentioned earlier that they were one of the first companies that I talked to. They were willing to provide music for the live event that we were going to have here in Albany. And TubeBuddy, everybody who is involved in YouTube knows about TubeBuddy. They've been absolutely awesome. Phil and the crew over at TubeBuddy have always been super supportive of the online video community, and I can't thank them enough. And Uscreen, it just so happened we had to pivot to an online event, and we had a relationship in place with Uscreen that allowed us to take what we were going to do in person and set up an online platform, which is now at peopleofvideoonline.com. So if you happen to be watching this live stream and you haven't got your ticket yet and you want to hear from all these amazing people in person, you can go over to peopleofvideoonline.com and still grab tickets. You will have access to all the presentations for 30 days, and you have the option to buy replays to get everybody's presentations for a full year. So I just wanted to mention all of them. We wouldn't be able to do this without them. And wanted to make sure that all of you know, if you go to peopleofvideoonline.com and you scroll down to the sponsor section, you can actually click on the links on each one of those sponsors and head over to their offers and try out their products. So I appreciate you guys checking them out.
Very much so.
Chat is popping over here. I'll tell you, it's really good to see how everybody's doing. And just a really quick poll here of everybody that's watching. Where are you watching from? I would love to hear it. Even if you think I know you know where you're from, pop it on in there. I'd love to hear it, because I see Carrie and Barry are here, and they were in that meeting last night.
Yeah.
2 a.m.
Yeah.
No. There's no way I would be able to get up, and much less get my wife involved in it. At 2 a.m. So,
hey, Dale, there's a question for you that came up. I saw it earlier, and I actually took a screenshot of it so I wouldn't forget, because it was from Lee, and she asked, what's the best way or process to get a book started? Do we use Amazon's KDP or ...
This is what I always tell people starting out. Obviously, follow me. All joking aside, Amazon Kindle Direct Publishing is your best option, because Amazon is the online juggernaut. They are the 100-ton gorilla in the room. So I think, and I'm sorry to be anecdotal, I don't have any evidence to send you over to, but I believe that Amazon derives 60% of all global online publication profits. So aligning yourself with Amazon is probably the best first steps. Once you find yourself getting a little bit more used to the process, it gets a bit easier, and then you can probably start to think about other avenues beyond Amazon. But for right now, Kindle Direct Publishing is awesome. Yeah, you can watch my videos, but also Amazon does have a course that's called KDP Jumpstart. It is $0. It's chock full of information for anybody that's new, and it can get you started up. And I would say the only thing holding you back right now is pen to paper. Get it on out and start writing out your book and get it going.
I can attest to that Jumpstarter program, because when I first jumped into doing my first book, I was going in blind, pardon the pun. But They make it actually very easy, and there's a little bit of a learning curve to when you download it and you have to format it correctly to get it into these readers. But once you figure that part out, like Dale said, it's pretty simple to do, and Amazon is that juggernaut, so why not go with the biggest guy in the room?
Yeah, absolutely. And it's a little intimidating at first, but isn't anything that's new. I mean, going on YouTube, it's a little intimidating, doing a podcast, it's intimidating. But once you get your reps in, it's like going into a gym. First time is going to be a little bit tough. The next time is going to get a little easier and gets a little bit easier and gets a little bit easier. So stick with it for sure. And if you ever have questions, please feel free to reach out to me. I'm pretty accessible.
Definitely.
All right, I'm convinced. I got to write a book now.
Yeah, you do.
Get it, yeah, for sure. And by all means, Todd, reach out to me.
Well, truth be told, I've written 5 books, but totally unrelated to anything we've done. So I've done this, and I self-published, and I found a printer up in Michigan. I shipped books. I got on Amazon. I did the Kindle. This was like 2008, 2009, 2010.
Oh, wow.
And I actually hired people I tried to format for the Kindle myself, and it was so difficult. I found a company in Texas. I don't even know if they exist anymore, but I hired them to do it for me. But totally unrelated. I spent a year on one of the 5. I wrote 5 books, but I spent a year on one of them, and it just, I haven't wanted to write since then, but I know I need to do it. And, there'll be what are called toilet readers. My books were okay. My book was, they were legal books, and I was very thorough. And I had one that was the size of a cinder block. Dale, the book you have behind you that your brother wrote, that would be a toilet reader. And I was told you need to write these books as toilet readers. You'll be a lot more successful with writing books than these comprehensive books. I think I had 5,000 footnotes, and going to case law and statutes and it was just crazy. Especially the one I wrote about California gun law. It was nuts. So I'm convinced I need to jump back into it. Dale, I might be talking to you sometime soon, but I like your brother's book back there. That's very inspiring because you can have a great impact on your life for a weekend's worth of work and just, putting pen to paper and grinding it out. And if you want to, I'll throw a little pro tip to people. If you want an idea on, and of course, Dale probably tells you this as well. If you want to figure out some structure for a book and you sit down and you're like, well, gosh, what am I going to write about? Well, if you've got the general topic in mind, go see what everyone else is writing about and study their table of contents and start thinking about what you're talking about that they're talking about that you can put your perspective on, and what topics maybe they didn't cover that you can add a lot of value.
Yeah, actually, I'm going to add on to that. Table of contents is this fantastic thing. What I'll do is I'll go and I go to the bestsellers list of my given niche. I'll buy about the 10 books and I'll bring those all down and I'll read every single one of them cover to cover, and then go in. You're going to pay attention to all their reviews. Go to the 1-star reviews. Figure out why people are complaining. There is something that's missing in those publications. You'll be able to address that inside your book, and you're going to crush it. It was part of the process that we did with his little book here. This actually was involved in a case study. Within 12 hours, we made that a bestseller on Amazon. Now,
nice.
Those that are within the business know, like, okay, that's not too big a deal, but I was able to leverage numerous avenues, and thankfully I have, a few friends in the business that we were able to make it happen. But I did make it into a YouTube video where I shared people, like, it's easier than just it's a case of just the hardest part is probably writing it, getting it done, editing it, proofreading it. Formatting, by the way, Todd, has changed so much since 2008.
I bet it has.
Yeah.
You can just drop it into software, spits it right back out for you, and you're good to go. Way, way, way easier. Yeah, because back in 2008, 2009, 2010, I'm sure it was just like so archaic, and you're probably like ready to break your keyboard.
It was terrible. And I spent money. I mean, it was expensive to have it done, but I wanted it done because the Kindle was cutting edge. Mm-hmm. You can actually still buy the print books. They're $300 or $400 because they're out of print. So the guys that get them, put them for big money, but and they're dated. There's absolutely no reason to buy them at this point. I still do get Kindle sales though. I don't know who would buy a 10-year-old gun law book, but because it's dated now, but I still, every month it's $15 or $20 off the Kindle. But it was an experience, and you do feel good. Let me tell you, the day I opened a box, the first copy of the first book that I wrote was California. And when I opened the box and saw it there with my name on the cover, and I had a great cover, I designed it myself, and it just was gorgeous. I mean, it was the most euphoric feeling, I think. I mean, it was just an accomplishment. And so anybody in the audience who wants to write a book, go and just do it.
That is a cool feeling when that box of books comes the first time.
It is.
Yeah, that smell.
Yeah.
Smell. You know, it's like, oh, it's like new car smell. It's
I'm definitely the one that I just released on Monday. I am in the process now of formatting it for print because that's what I want.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Well, do yourself a favor though, because you can deflate that feeling real quick when you flip your book over and find where you've transposed 2 letters in one word on the back of the book, and it's like, man, oh man, it's like the first sentence and there's a typo, and that happened. Yeah. That happened to me.
But see, when you're big and famous like Todd.live, it becomes like an error baseball card back in the 80s. So it's worth more.
I don't know about big and famous, but I wrote something that worked as a great paperweight on a desk. Let me tell you.
So you're saying it would make a good monitor stand right now?
Oh my gosh, this thing was. I threw most of them in a dumpster when I got out of this thing. I sold a lot of them, and they were actually more popular once I got out of doing it than when I was doing it. It's funny how the world works. When you discontinue something, all of a sudden everyone has to have it. But when you were out there waving it around for everybody to see, no one was interested. The economy went to crap in 2008, and that was really hard. And digital media was really starting to come about. And so it was a bad move. I learned a lot, and it was a great experience, but business wise, it was not the best move. And some of it was nothing I could have seen ahead of time, particularly the economy. I mean, I even was like, I'll put them in your store on consignment. Just put them there, and you don't have to give me anything. Just sell them. And I couldn't even get people to put them on their counter.
Wow.
It was just people didn't want to be on the hook for the money once it sold. Like, I'm going to show up and want $200 or $500 or whatever. They didn't want to have to come up with it because money was so tight for everybody.
You needed to know Dale back then.
Yeah, I wasn't online doing anything like what I'm doing now. I don't know if Dale was. Dale, were you doing stuff back then?
Back in 2008, I was like actually a personal trainer at that time. So if you would have came to me, I would have been like, I don't know what the hell to do.
You would have had him use it as a barbell.
That's right.
Yeah, there you go. It was definitely thick enough. I want to get us back on track here. You guys, we can always talk about books over on my channel. People of video, let's go back over here. So let's say that we get an asset like a book. I'd love to hear from all 4 of you because I know my own opinion on what I would do. How would you leverage your avenue, be it LinkedIn, be it YouTube, whatever video content creation platform, to share your publication? What is one of the best ways that you would see how you would do that and build awareness of that?
Who wants to go first?
YouTube. Talking about it in all your YouTube videos, maybe dropping a little golden nugget in every video. And hey, there's more. If my book, there's a link down below, make it a prominent link down below. I think that would be a great way to do it.
I mean, I know I did. I did that. I would talk about it, and I might take like a chapter and talk a little bit about that in a video, and that I would put maybe up on LinkedIn. I would also have a link to the book at the end of a blog post. So a lot of my blog posts still today link to one of my books if it's appropriate. It's a great way. I would put them in email newsletters. I would take every opportunity I had to send people to a landing page where you could buy my book. But as far as video went, anytime I had a chance to, talk about a topic that was in my book, I would certainly mention my book and say, you could get my book on Amazon, and just sort of make it casual, and then maybe put it in the description or something like that afterwards.
Well, and I'll add a lot of these platforms now, StreamYard, I think allows it. I think Ecamm has it, but the little ticker tape down at the bottom that you can put a lot of information in there. You don't really have to mention your book during the video necessarily, but you could have one of the pieces of information that scrolls on the bottom, mention the book with a URL or something. I haven't done that myself, but
Excellent. D brings
like,
up a good one.
on YouTube videos, I think you can add it to like, and D is actually even going to say it.
You read my mind.
In an end screen, a link in an end screen, it's going to work wonders, especially if people are watching your video all the way through. I was going to share a personal experience with live streaming and how I helped promote my second book. And I was doing, I chose it. So every Monday I go live, right? So I have a weekly show, and I was going to do something that was basically titled one of the chapters in my book. So I took that and I basically read it word for word on a teleprompter. And I mean, I wasn't like droning on and on about it, but and people started engaging about asking questions about specific things. Well, what do I do next? I'm like, funny, you should mention that. If you'd like to know more, you can buy my book at the link down in the description. And that boosted sales the first day that I actually started promoting my book.
Nice.
Brilliant. What question for all of you guys? Now, this wouldn't even just be, say, for books. This could be for services or products that aren't just included. What do you say to some people that are afraid to be salesy? They're afraid to be too salesy. What would you say in regards to that? I would love to hear all 4 of your opinions.
Tell stories that point back to your book. I talk, and subtly, teach something from your book and say, and, have crafty ways of mentioning your book without really mentioning your book. I mean, but if you're storytelling and you can tell the same story, maybe you've got 10 stories in queue and you can share them throughout the year and spread them all out. And, people aren't going to get tired of them. And they're nice stories that caused you to do this or led you somewhere or something you figured out. You found a solution to a problem. And you can say, you wrote about it in your book. I mean, it's as simple as saying that. I wrote about it in my book. It's over on Amazon if you're interested, and the link's down below. Is that too salesy?
Yeah, see, I think that's a great way. I have a hard time being salesy. So, slipping it in, just a comment as part of a story, as, sort of a side reference, just kind of an offhanded comment, including it in a description or, just at the end of a blog post or something like that, when you don't even necessarily reference it, but you get to the bottom and you see it. Those kinds of things are still ways to promote it. I think even if, putting it as an end screen in the video that somebody gets all the way to the end of is another sort of subtle way.
And I think you can sell without being salesy at all. And I preach the 4 E's like Dale talked to earlier. All your content, it doesn't matter if it's a book, if it's a video, a blog post, an infographic, it needs to hit one of these 4 E's. It needs to be engaging, it needs to be educational, it needs to be emotional, or it needs to be entertaining. And I'm going to use an example of something that I recently saw within the past 3 or 4 months. And it was selling something without selling something. And it was literally studless wall hangers for picture frames. They said nothing about the studless wall hanging picture frame screw until the very end of this commercial that I saw on a television program. And it was a family that had just sent kids off to college, and they took photos. And then when they dropped the kids off at college, they drove to a hardware store and bought these things, took it back to their house and put it in their wall. The hardware store isn't selling the studless wall hanger. The hardware store is selling the ability for families to hang memories in their home. They are selling things without being salesy.
That's brilliant. And what a great way to frame it. And even if it's not a book, it could be your course, it could be your consulting services. It could be, a paywall for other videos that you have. This is awesome. I love it. Dan, I see your lack of words, man. Are you running out of steam, man?
No, I'm good. I was just giving everybody the opportunity to share their thoughts. That's the purpose of these live streams, to get all the speakers out here and to share my approach on that. And I think Dale and I were actually talking about this. Maybe it was the last live stream, but the idea, I think we were talking about it pre-stream. I don't know that we actually covered it on live stream, but something that Gary Vee said recently, which was, somebody asked the question, when is it right, or when is it time to ask, to basically ask your audience for money? And he basically said, wait as long as you have, don't do it until you absolutely have to. And I think what he was alluding to is, don't get into the habit of, the longer that you can wait to do that, and you guys are kind of touching on it in a roundabout sort of way, instead of going for the direct path of trying to sell something to somebody, you can make all of your products and services available to people and allow your audience to go and find them themselves. But the idea that you're constantly in a position giving them value, giving away stuff for free, they're going to naturally come around and want to support you the longer they have that receiving relationship from you. And it's potentially going to strengthen the relationship with your audience and make things sell more naturally deeper into the relationship. So I think it's just a different way to say what you guys are talking about, which is the idea of, the roundabout way that things get sold. And you can do that without being, hey, I'm going to make this video and tell people to buy my course.
and I think to your point too, Dan, that's a great way to do it. And what I try to do, and I can only pull from my personal experiences, guys, I'm not pushing my products, and I'm not trying to sell you guys anything, or anybody for that matter. I try to practice what I preach, and I try to use what I sell. So I come from a graphic design background. So all my live streams, all my videos, everything that I use graphics wise and animation wise, I use, and I also sell on my website. So if somebody's watching my live stream and they're like, hey, Eddie, your frame looks great. Well, guess what? You can go check it out on my website, because I'm using a template that I sell for you, and you can use it right now. So it's just a natural way to, I'm using the product, they like it, so they can also go buy it. But I'm not pushing them like, in the next 5 minutes, be the first 10 callers and you get, I'm not doing that. I'm actually practically using the stuff that I'm selling.
Eddie, please do me a favor. I know this is completely off script. I want you to say it, but you got to use it in your announcer's voice. Come on now, please. Come on.
What do you want me to sell?
It doesn't matter. Sell me this pen. Sell me this pen.
All right, guys, we're in here. Welcome to People of Video Podcast. If you look down on your screen right now, we've got Dale L. Roberts selling his #2 penny pencil. And if you call in the next 10 minutes, he is going to send you one of his brother's books, signed, sealed, and deliver. So sit on your hand, get off your hands, pull out your wallets, and get on DaleLRoberts.com today.
Everybody's going to show up there now. They're going to be like, there's no pens here. I had to hear the voice. He did the voice.
Hey, we have reached the 9 o'clock hour. Everybody go around real quick. We will start with Eddie. Just tell everybody where people can find you out there on the socials.
Every major social media is just Eddie Garrison. And my website is digitalmediacreatoracademy.com.
All right, Todd.
Everywhere is Todd.live. Even if it's not exactly Todd.live, if you put Todd.live in the search, I'm going to show right up. The website is Todd.live. And if you want to talk to me personally, my favorite place to have a conversation is Instagram private messaging. Send me one and you will get a response.
Awesome. Brad?
Yeah, and you can find me. My website is friedmansocialmedia.com. And on social media, it's Brad Friedman.
And Dale.
And I'd close it out and I'd tell people how to get a hold of me. But one of the best ways to get a hold of me is bright and early tomorrow morning with Dan Courier and I as we start out the show again.
We'll be back tomorrow morning, 8 a.m. to kick off day 2 of People of Video. We have another entire group of presenters. You can go to peopleofvideo.com to see that entire list. But if you got a lot of value today, you're going to double that up tomorrow. There's a great list of people out there. You're going to get a ton of value. So you might need to grab a second notebook for that day. I want to thank Eddie, Todd, Brad, and Dale, of course, for being here on the live stream. They made the 2 hours go by very quickly. Thank everybody in the chat for coming and hanging out with us tonight. You guys are awesome. And hey, if you know anybody that could benefit from this, that wants to build a business through online video, let them know about peopleofvideoonline.com. And one quick thing, I put out on Facebook and Twitter a contest to download for free Prism Live Studio app and share a screen print. We're going to, and there's some other instructions out there to tag Prism Live Studio and People of Video, and we're going to pick some of those people out to send some of this merch to. So if you're interested in that, definitely hit up Facebook and Twitter for People of Video and get in on that. Thank you guys so much for coming and hanging out tonight. We are done with day 1 of People of Video. We'll see you bright and early, 8 a.m. tomorrow morning. Good night.